Good day, everybody. And we are live, except for Jabari, who's having an issue. This is the Monday Hybrid live show. Dave is here. He's got news. Anthony is late again. Maybe we should start issuing punishments. Like,
I think I got it right.
I'm going to mute you for a second. I think before we bring Anthony in, what should his penalty be? Should it be like, I don't know, like 30 push-ups or something?
Oh, for sure. Well, it was 30 burpees would be classic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're trying to move away from that, though, aren't we?
But he could do them with bad form, and then that would be okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
All
see,
right.
Brandon's got it, the burpees. Yeah. Nick Riker in the house.
Welcome, Ravenclaw Kidditch Captain. Did you hear that? Did you hear the penalties we're going to start giving you for being late?
You know, I was always told as a coach that you don't know what's going on in somebody's day. So if they show up late to your class, just let them jump in. Don't penalize them and give them burpees.
Oh, well, luckily for you, this is not your CrossFit gym. This is the Monday Hybrid Live Show where people tune in, dare I say, from all over the world to hear what's happening. Alex, welcome. I was hoping you'd hop on before so I could get the correct pronunciation of your last name. So now you get to tell everybody in the world how to say your name.
It's Alex Shabo. I feel like it's pronounced so many different ways at races, so I will answer anything, but it is Shabo.
Well, you know, it took us about 2 years to get Rylan Shadeg's name right. So
Exactly.
hopefully we'll get you right. Well, Alex, you're here. We're going to talk about some DEKA stuff. Also, Jabari House is here. Jabari, the most commenting dude we've had so far on the show, probably. And I told him he could come on. He's sorting out his issues. Can you turn your phone slightly, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
I love uniformity. I am kind of a mess.
Hold on.
And I am very ADD versus say OCD, but I do like some symmetry. I promise you it'll work. I promise you. Just do it.
Okay, try it.
Look at that.
That is some serious coffee table art.
Look at that.
Hold on, I gotta flip it. There we go. Oh, upside down.
Did Dave already say his news? His name is I Have
I've been
News.
waiting for you. And I didn't
No,
want to use things without you.
Okay.
Because you are the captain of the Quidditch team.
Yeah.
Well, and I have some news too. Why my name is alive and kicking, but
I was going to put Ravenclaw Seeker, but I didn't want people to think I was Cho Chang. So instead I just put Quidditch Captain.
Captain's big. Like, I don't know. You got to work for that. By the way, Nick Riker says there's no excuses for being late, Anthony.
There's a lot of excuses for being late.
Yeah, but they're
just not good.
One day when we have a lot of time, I will tell you my best excuse I ever used for being late for work. It was complete bullshit, but it was a great excuse.
All right. Well, listen.
I got a similar story. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. If your news is hybrid fitness related, can I tell you my story first? Because I wanna bring people up to speed on something that's important.
It's best if we start with you off topic and then come back to reality.
Right? Because we want to give the people what they came for.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring back in. I think this is Jabari. Oh man, Jabari, where are you? What planet are you checking in from? This is so bad.
Is everybody's sound bad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me exit out real quick. Y'all continue. Let me exit out. Let me try something. All right. Y'all continue on.
All right, I'm gonna mute him. I'm gonna tell you what's happening with me because I've been wanting to tell everybody.
Jabari sounds like he's got a great voice for this.
Well, he sounds like the Predator is what he sounds like.
Well, right now, yeah.
All right. And dare I ask him to turn his phone, by the way?
No, just work on the sound. One thing at a time.
Jabari, man, we really want you here.
I know. Anytime.
He's arbitrary.
Listen, we're gonna have to work on this and get you on another week. I think. All right, sorry, we got to remove him. Sorry.
Jump in the comments again, Jabari.
Jump back in the comments. We'd love to have you there. So listen, this is relatively big news. So,
okay.
And I wanted to let people know what's going on.
It's the same as my news. That would be interesting.
It's definitely not the same. It's not the same as your news.
You don't know that. You don't know what my news is.
Well, mine's about me, so I don't think
it's not the same as you. No, I don't care about you. Okay, go ahead.
So I've been working out in my backyard, as you well know, doing my DEKA workout, loving it, and I thought I wanted to step it up a little bit. I thought I'm probably going to do more HYROX than DEKA. I should add some more HYROX stuff. So got the wall ball back out that was sent to me a few months ago. So rather than do my typical 500-meter run and then all the DEKA stuff, I did 500 meters. I did 30 wall balls. Then I did the run. Then I did a nice heavy farmer's carry. And then I came back to do some lunges. And I was using a brute force sandbag for the lunges. And I don't know, like I was going to do 100 meters, and about 20 meters in, I was in an awful lot of pain. I mean, it was hot. I was like, oh, this is fucking hard. And so then I came back the other way, and I just fell down and felt what can only describe as a large animal, perhaps an elephant, like standing right here. And something told me, like, go in the house because it's cooler there. So I sort of crawled my way. There's like 3 steps up to the bedroom. I'm laying there, and I'm like, and I'm like immediately thinking, like, this isn't a heart attack because it's not going to my arm, but something's really bad. And Stacy's like, honey, what is it? Do I call 911? And I'm like, I don't know. It might pass. And then it didn't pass for like 10 minutes. And I was like trying not to freak out. Like, I know this isn't good, but if I freak out more, it's going to make it worse. So Stacy put some ice on me, and it eventually came down. And it's like, okay, I got to see somebody. This is not good. So I go see the doctor, and I describe what happened. And he's like, do you have history of heart disease in your family? And I'm like, well, my dad did have a quadruple bypass when he was about my age. And he's always told me, like, my dad's dad and has 4 brothers, and they like all died before the age of 50, and that I should probably know that this is a thing in my family. Now, when you hear that from age like 20 to 49, you really don't think about it. But having that happen and being 52, I was like, holy shit. So they're like, all right, we're going to give you the stress test. And so I didn't want to say anything. Like, I wanted to wait till all this stuff happened to actually see what happened. And I still don't know much because I haven't even talked to the doctor, but they put you on a treadmill. Well, first they take some picture, they put some dye in you, and they take some cool images of you, right? Then they stitch you on a treadmill, and they're like, well, you got to get your heart rate up to 140. And most people, it's like 9 minutes. The machine starts, it's like a little incline, and you're just walking, and then they just keep raising it up every 3 minutes. And I'm like, I think we're going to be here a while, right? Because I think a lot of people get on that thing and they hit 140 pretty quickly, right? They're like, most people are either 6 minutes or 9 minutes. So 9 minutes, I'm just cruising, right? Just do. So I went 15 to finally get my heart rate above 150. And then once I'm there, it like spikes pretty quickly. Like once I'm even slow jogging, it gets up there. Anyway, waiting for the results, super anxious. And they finally sent them today. And I still don't know anything. Because the doctor hasn't seen them, but they tell you, they warn you, they're like, hey, we're not gonna, like, the doctor will call you, but we're gonna send them to you right away. So it's a lot of medical terminology. ChatGPT was amazing. It did a really good job explaining stuff to me, like better than you would think, even. So there's one small ventricle that there might be something, essentially, is what it said. It said it's less than 3%. So that could be a small issue, or could be like a bug on the screen, essentially, is what it said. Like, it could be, right? So my wife is all happy. Like, this is really good news. Like, it's not like some major blockage. And I will say yes. And I'm in the same place I was before. I don't know what it is. I'm afraid to work out because when that happened, I said, should I not even go for a jog until we figure it out? He's like, yeah, don't work out. Don't do anything. So that's what's happening with me. And this was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Thursday, I think, that this happened. So yeah, so I don't think, I think I might go for a walk tomorrow, but like when it's cool out. So anyway, that's what's happening with me. And I just, it's been bothering me and it's been on my mind, but I didn't want to say anything until I actually knew something. But I talked to a few people, my buddy Cheryl, we messaged a little bit, some other people. So that's what's happening with me. Dave, is that the same news as you had?
Yes.
Do you have any questions,
No.
Anthony?
No.
You look disturbed, Anthony.
Oh, my internet just like bugged out and everybody froze. And you just came back on and you asked me if I had any questions. It sounded like to me like you were having a heart attack or you had some issues. So I'm glad you're okay, and that's why it says alive and kicking under your name.
Yes, that is why it says alive and kicking under my name.
You,
But and like I said, I'm glad that like nothing major, like, oh, you're fucking, you know, you're not. But again, I'm also like the not knowing. And my wife also said, she's like, honey, also, by the way, like, this is what women are like every time we get a mammogram. Like, you could have cancer. You don't know for a week. She says it's horrible. So yeah, so I'm happy to be relatively out of the woods, but I really like to know what's going on because I would like to continue my active lifestyle and not fucking fall over.
So yeah, I'm going to say take two positives out of this.
Two positives.
First one being, chances are the reason that it's not near as bad as some past family members where they've had more issues is because of your active lifestyle and because of your running, because of your general fitness for your age. So that's a good thing. That actually shows that like that has paid off for you health wise. And secondly, if you can't run and you can't do all that time to lift, man. Let's lift some stuff.
Well, that's the thing. I was doing lunges. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you were doing lots of lunges. I mean, let's do some bro training, some 5x5s, get some pull-ups in there. Keep the heart rate low, but just pound out some power. Right, Anthony?
That's right.
Yeah.
Do a lifting cycle.
Get some grip strength.
Time to see how much can Matt B. Davis squat.
We don't know that. Let's find out. So wait a minute. You're
Start
telling
running
me that
a 5x5.
You're telling me that if I try to lift something really heavy, isn't it gonna similarly like isn't my blood gonna want to work really hard?
You don't
the
start
chance
really
we're willing to take.
Any load we apply to you right now at the beginning is not going to be heavy enough to do anything. As long as your doctor says it's okay and you can start doing like light things or stuff, then you start working on your mobility, you start working on your positioning, your efficacy of the movement, and then we'll start loading you up.
Yeah, kicking some goblet squats, work on that depth for wall balls, mobility, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, you should definitely do some goblet squats.
Yeah, goblet
start
squats.
Loading up that kettlebell and do those.
Some thrusters, low
weight. It's not a lot, Matt. I'm talking like 25 total reps, 5 sets of 5, long breaks where you get to sit down and be on your phone in between them, like real working out that stimulates some stuff.
I bet Dave doesn't look at his phone between reps.
No, well, my reps only takes 60 seconds between reps. So
how do you think Dave gets those awesome shots of him doing weighted pull-ups? He's got to go set up the camera between his sets.
Well, you know what? We could talk about this. So I do just like everybody else does. I finish my sets and then I go back after and I do like one extra little set of it, right? Every now and again. So you don't
do it beforehand. You don't say, this is what I did, and then post it and then go do the workout?
No, I do it after. Or sometimes
I don't know how to gym selfies. So.
I think Dave should go full influencer. Hey, everybody, I'm going to take you through my day. I wake up at 3:30 and I drive 7 hours to work. Then when I get home, sometimes listen to a podcast.
Don't forget to keep your bank account full by avoiding that avocado toast.
Ooh.
Alex, are you a medical professional?
I am not a medical professional. Fitness professional, not medical professional.
Okay. Do you have any letters after your name?
No.
There's an O on the end. I can see it.
All right. Well, listen, I really want to hear from you. I really want to hear about DEKA, and we'll take notes from Jabari on the right-hand side there. But I do have to now check in with Dave. Dave, what is your big news?
So it's not big news. It's just news. It's moderate news. I don't know if it's big or moderate, but it does apply to DEKA. So it is DEKA news.
I thought you were going to say second day Toronto. I thought you were going to, they let you spoil it here.
I really wish I was, but I do not have that news for you yet.
Damn it.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. No, this is DEKA news. And this is something that goes back to 2022 Worlds. All right. So DEKA is going to this year for the World Championship allow substitutions for relay partners if a relay partner cannot make it under certain scenarios, which are very simplistic scenarios. They're not very complicated.
I thought this was already.
No, last year, and I'll tell you a situation. And I'll even use names.
You cheated. Year one, your team cheated, right?
No,
year two, they by cheating, right?
Doesn't matter.
The second year, they changed the rule so you can't do it again. You're saying they're changing it back?
Yes. To the way it should have been the whole time. All right. And I'll give you an example from the 2023 Worlds. And like I said, I know he won't mind me using his name because this is a friend in a specific scenario. So last year, Zach Tate had a partner who was to be his partner, Pat Millington, another great guy, but Pat ended up not being able to go at the last minute. So Zach was left without a partner and unable to race. Oh gosh, not this again. Yes, Heather, go for a run. So Zach was not able to race, and he had a partner there, willing, ready to go, but the rule prevented them from allowing that to happen. Now we will be able to have substitutions under certain scenarios. And like I said, the scenarios are actually pretty lapsed. But for those of you who don't know, this went back to 2022. And like Matt's saying, and the reason Heather White comments is because Bethany McChesney had to use Heather White. Heather White filled in for a partner that Bethany had qualified with. And then they went on to win. And some people did not like this. So some people complained. DEKA decided to change the rule. Now, after much petitioning and conversations and stuff, we have now made it because, quite frankly, I've always said this, and I still say this. Every team sport has a substitution policy. People get injured, people get hurt all over the place. And this is still a very young sport, very small sport. Some people just can't make it in the end. Things change. Life happens.
So what is the rule? What's the specific change? That's the question.
What standards need to be met? Essentially, if you're a person that is being replaced on the team, you may not race in any other race at Worlds.
Okay.
So, for example, if Anthony and I were partners, but he was also supposed to race Elite Fit, and I have to replace him because he can't go, he can no longer race in Elite Fit or anything like that. So it has to be the person cannot attend the event or has become injured earlier throughout, has become unavailable. So like, let's say again, Anthony and I are partners later in the week. He runs his fit, twists an ankle, can't run our team race, then he can be replaced.
Well, but that also, you're probably going to be shit out of luck then, because most of the people you'd want to partner up with as the backup would already be there at Worlds. If you were supposed to partner with Bethany and she backed out, you're like, well, I'd love to ask Alex, but Alex already raced individually too. So somebody's just got to show up and just hang out. No, if Alex would still be eligible for me because she's replacing, she's not being replaced.
So question, Dave.
Yeah.
What if I qualify with my sister or something and we get a doubles, but then like I get hurt, my sister gets hurt, or say I get hurt, we replace Rylan with me, and then my sister gets hurt and Lauren goes with Rylan, and all of a sudden that's the team that signs up because
one of the original members has to be part of it.
Oh, okay. Can't be both.
No, can't do both. And the other part of it is as well.
Also question.
Yep.
For someone like Bubbles who qualifies with multiple athletes, can they replace him if he's on a different team than the other team that he qualified for? So say he qualifies with like in a mixed team with 3 different women and he goes with one of them, can he be replaced on the other teams for those other 2 women?
No, you may only be linked to 1 qualification per division.
Okay.
So for example, and this was a discussion and Kevin was used as an example where Kevin could theoretically, and you use that mixed strong division, co-ed strong division, go out and find 15 different women, qualify with all of them, and then hold every qualifying spot and then be replaced for everyone. So you can't do that. You can only be linked to 1 qualification spot.
Dave, I'm not asking because I'm just bothered. I'm just curious. Are you on like some kind of affiliate call, or how did this happen? Because it sounds like you're involved. I'm glad you are.
I had petitioned for this for a long time. So, and I know I petitioned for this, and I don't know what the word would be, counseled, asked about it, helped with some of the wording that will be put into the Zendesk and the rules. And also, by the way, Yancey has cleared that I can talk about this tonight. So this is not untowards.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, so that's the big thing. The big rules are if you are being replaced, you can't go and so for example, again, and we'll use Kevin for example because he's a great guy to use for it. If someone qualifies with him and then wants to replace him, he can't be running in 6 different other things at Worlds and then just replace him because essentially it's like selling a qualification point. And then also any one person can only be linked to 1 qualification per division.
Well, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a athlete committee, that thing that Spartan said they did but didn't really, like outside of DEKA, because they've got the DEKA team, right?
Mhm.
But I think if they had another, I don't know, 2 or 3 people, you, a couple other people, and that way, if just something goes down and they're like, hey, we looked at all this a bunch of different ways, we just want to run it by some other people, and we trust you. And what do you think?
Yeah, and I believe Yancey does do that. He runs by a lot of things with a lot of people. I don't think he might not get a chance to run everything by me. I don't get told everything. I don't get an opinion on everything, but I do get asked my opinion for some things. And this is one of the particular things, as I had petitioned for it so much. And I've felt the whole time that it's silly. And I really felt bad about what happened to Zach last year in that scenario where he was there, had paid, set, ready to go, had a partner willing to go on. That would have been a very suitable partner for him. And they were unable to do so. So he had worked hard, had his qualifying spot, deserved to be in that race, and was not able to do so because there was a rule saying no substitutes. And
Okay,
now that
then.
shouldn't be the case.
All righty, let's move on to DEKA FIT Carolina at the Carrabas County Convention Center. Did I say that right, Alex? Is that where it was?
I mean, all I know is we shared a reptile show, which was the other of the convention. So it's between us. So that's all I know about the place.
Did you say a reptile show?
Yeah, we were going to a reptile show and had to park. So
Okay, you're breaking up all of a sudden. While you're breaking up all of a sudden, I'm gonna try to bring Jabari back one more time. Jabari,
Yes.
dude, you sound great. Look at that.
Yeah.
We lost
Thank you,
Alex
sir.
and gained a Jabari. Look at that.
Yes,
All right, you're
yes.
totally frozen, Alex. Oh, shoot. Hello, you totally froze, Alex. Move closer to the we were finally gonna check him with her. All right, we're gonna start with you, Jabari. Jabari, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. I wasn't gonna let that snafu mess everything else. I know I'm gonna try to get back on, so I had to switch it up. So, but glad to be here. So,
All
Dave,
Hey, buddy.
Anthony, what's happening?
How's it going?
Feeling good. Still sore though, but I'm all right.
How many races did you do?
Only did the fit, just the individual. I was going to judge as well, but I was already wiped out. So I was like, yeah. So now just wanted to just focus and just at least get under 50 minutes, but I didn't do that. So
No word of a lie, judging wears you out, man. Like that time on feet just wears you out.
yes. So I've judged, at other gyms for like the strong and the mild, but just how everything was, shaping out. Plus, I had spasms during the race. I was like, nah, let me just do that, and spectate and be fine with that. So,
all right, we'll get to your spasms during the race. What is your athletic background prior to DEKA? Were you an OCR guy?
Well, I'll go back all the way to 2013 when I started, running. I came from team sports, but over time just got into more endurance stuff, runs, 5Ks, 10Ks, etc. And then in 2017, found out about Spartan race, jumped into that. AT&T Stadium, had to make it happen, and instantly hooked. And then in 2021, a friend of mine in Dallas told me about the first DEKA FIT that they had there, and I was like, okay, let me sign up. Had a couple weeks to train and stuff, and was instantly hooked from there. So,
what was the first one? You said the first one?
Oh, no. The first one was Spartan race back in 2017 AT&T Stadium. First OCR.
No,
race.
you said you did the first. You said you did the first DEKA. I thought you said that.
Yes, that is what the first. I think the first one they ever had. Period. I think it was in Dallas at Fair Park. The very first one.
Alex is now outside.
Yeah, I think Jabari. I think they had that right. During the Spartan Stadium race, they also had a DEKA set up as well, like kind of in center field, right?
I believe that was much later. I think
Oh, that was
only
later.
did that
Okay.
race. that state race like 2017, 2018. But I don't think in 2018 they had that. Yeah, I don't think so. Not that I can remember. So
that would have been too early. That would have been too early.
All right, Alex is outside, but still a little fuzzy. Hopefully it'll get better shortly. But one more question before we talk more about your DEKA, Jabari. Have you been watching Who Killed WCW?
I've seen one of the first episodes. Yes, just one of them.
Okay,
it's rather interesting. I did not know that Eric Bischoff was heavy into I think it was like real estate or insurance like that. Did not know that. That was
he was like a salesman.
Salesman, yeah. He was a salesman. I was like, and then how all that came to be. That was interesting. So,
all right. So there's 3 of them out. The 4th one isn't out yet. Dave, have you seen him?
No.
It's really good. All right. So Jabari, tell us about your race.
My race was, in retrospect, overall, it was a win. I'll take that. My goal was to get under my last year's time was like 52 minutes, was try to get at least 50 minutes and under. However, in warm-ups, I, strained myself slightly. I was like, oh, okay, let me, I should be all right. Let me shake this off. But it continued on during the race, even with proper stretching, proper dynamic stretching, getting stretched, stretched out and everything else. It still bothered me throughout. But I was like, nope, we're going to continue to finish this. I think I only gained a minute from last year's time. But, in retrospect, it was a win. Executed on all levels. And it was actually a talk that Mario Johnson, afterwards, he told me, like, hey, not every race is going to be win. Sometimes you got to take some lessons for it. So, but anyway, I had to get it done. But it was overall very happy. And also, I got a chance to look at my splits. After I forgot who told me, but I was able to look at my splits, and now we're trying to start, dive into the numbers and see what to adjust. Definitely my compromise runs need to improve. I was sluggish out of the stations way more than usual, and I was highly hydrated. So there's some work to be done. So,
all right, we're gonna check in.
He's looking at your splits right now. He's sitting there going through the numbers.
I can hear you clicking.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like,
I'm gonna check in with Alex again. Alex, you need to unmute yourself, and you've moved to.
I know. I wanted to.
A private bunker.
I know they're opening up a new gym where I am, so it's a little bit of spotty service, not ideal. So I apologize.
It's okay. Did you try to connect it to your phone, maybe?
Yeah, that's where I'm connected purely to phone, not Wi-Fi. Hopefully this helps.
Okay, Alex. So let's talk about your race. You came in. You're standing on the start line. How well do you know the competition? No, wait. Was this your first one?
No, I did one last year at the Northeast, and like outside Philadelphia. That was my first DEKA FIT, and really my only other one that I've done solo.
Did you do pro? Did you do pro in last year PA?
No, not. I mean, I had no idea, and I almost didn't do elite this time. I actually had my friend that I traveled with last week. I switched last minute to elite from age group. I was first going to do age group, and then this week decided just to put myself in for elite this time.
What is your athletic background?
I mean, I was in college and I did sports like soccer, but honestly, the first time I really started competing again was starting HYROX training like 1.5 years ago. In 2022, I think my first race in New York. Since then, I've just been addicted to a hybrid season. We're Elevate, which is the new gym. So he, of course, has like pushed us into DEKA and have since then.
All right, you're totally breaking up again, Alex.
It's a party in here.
It's about to be more of a party. I have one more person.
Okay.
I have one more person I'm about to let in. Alex, why don't we try to have you on like from your house, like another week?
Cool.
All right.
Sorry,
Peace
guys.
out. All right. Well, Nick Riker's here. He's eating. Are you done eating, Nick?
I'm done eating.
I have someone else that wants to come in. It looks like she is also eating, but let's see. I'm going to check her signal first. We'll see how she sounds. Hey.
Hey.
All right. This is like battle of whoever has the best signal gets to stay. That's basically how this works. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. You got good signal, you could stay.
Oh man,
Bad
if you
signal?
play the Thunderdome video again, I'm leaving. I'll just go. I'll be done. That's it.
Okay.
I think Anthony, you come with me.
That was fun. Come on, that was fun, wasn't it?
No, it's terrible.
All right. Well, listen, we got a couple of. We lost Alex. We have a couple other podium racers. One, Tara Jackson, who's, I don't want to say former world champ because that makes it sound like a long time ago, but she's a world champ.
Current
Nick,
world champ.
current world champ. Thank you, Nick.
For the mile.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nick is current bronze medalist. What are you, Nick?
Bronze.
But really outkicked your coverage. I mean, I think you were probably ranked 6th in that race, and you came in 3rd. So that's
I was like, man, he's really talking trash, Nick, if you're ranked 6th in Carolinas.
no, not in Carolinas, in World Champs.
I got you now.
All right, Terry, you got to turn your phone. There, I love it. There we go. All right. Riker's here. Tara's here. Jabari's here. This is awesome. Who raced first? The dudes raced first. I actually talked to you a lot already. I don't know if you would try to go back and watch, Tara, but your interview, you were completely underwater, but I didn't want to stop you because you looked like you were feeling good and talking, so I didn't stop you. So
Interview, but I watched the race. I liked Dylan's commentary.
Dylan's a natural, don't you think?
I think so. I think they should just pay him to go do off the wall commentary at these major races.
Tara, Lauren and I definitely think that you and Dylan need your own podcast, and we would listen to it all the time. Just the banter between the two of you, just like whatever it's about. I don't even care. Just
we had talked about doing it, but he's really busy working out like 37 hours a week, and I'm really busy.
Okay, well, take him for an hour while he's on the bike and just talk, or 30 minutes.
I've had them both on my show at the same time, and it's like watching siblings squabble.
I mean, it would just be a great show.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll circle back to doing that again.
It doesn't even have to be about hybrid fitness or any of these races or anything. Just whatever you guys feel like talking about.
Yeah, we talk about some off the wall stuff, so it'd probably be entertaining.
It would be.
Let's go to you, Nick. Nick, this is your first race back in a minute, right?
Second race back in a minute, but yes.
I'm really good at paying attention. Do you feel like you're part of the sport again? Do you feel like you're part of the community again?
Yeah, never left. Feel good.
I mean, you kind of did
in the DEKA world.
Yeah, you kind of did.
Like most people, take time off.
Nick is like super DEKA guy. Like in the DEKA community, Nick is really up there. He's super well thought of, and he's back to doing 30-20 now.
30-20, Mr. 30-20.
This is the line to prepare. So if you do the same thing this year that you did that last year, you're going to go into Worlds right peaking perfectly again.
I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm like not even training, not even running, not even working out, and I'm just ripping races. So I'm exactly where I want to be.
Crushing souls with no effort whatsoever.
That's right.
It looked like a good race. So when I watched, I think it was the first race. So when I watched you, and it looked like you actually at start, I was like, oh, Nick doesn't look too hot right here, but it was just a different Nick because we're so used to seeing you go out so hot. And in this one, it looks like you held back and saved for the end, and then just it seems like you're much more dialed in on your strategy.
Yeah, I'm really flirting with a lot of different strategies heading into Worlds. Like the first race in Austin, I was telling my girlfriend the week leading up to it, I said, I think I'm just going to run really fast on every zone, as fast as I can, and just like take it so easy on the stations that is like almost embarrassing. Like I'll row like a 158 pace. I'll do the box step overs like as like a toddler would do it. I'll do the ski like in 205, and then I'll just barely bike, and then hopefully the last 3 stations I could just have enough energy to bring it home. I didn't really care about the placing, and it just kind of turned out that I caught Glenn and Isaac, and then that was kind of like the same strategy for Carolinas, but just do the ergs maybe a little bit faster. So I'm really thinking like the 5K splits is the last 3 to 4 runs is actually the most important part of DEKA. And if I can stop doing those at like 6-minute pace and get those down to like 5:20 pace, then I think my 5K split will be sub 17 by Worlds. And then it's just like, I'm right then and there.
What do you think about that, Tara?
Well, I feel like you have to play to your strengths. So if Nick is more of a runner, like running is 2/3 of the race. So like leaning into what your strengths are, I think is smart. But I think you can't like let up too much on the bike because like you exponentially lose time. Like with the watts, it's so much different than losing meters in the row. Like you might lose 1 or 2 seconds, but if you're biking like 120 and well, I mean, you still beat Colin and he biked like 1:10 something. I don't remember what he biked, but
yeah, like I used to bike like at Worlds in last year, Dave. You saw I could do 25 calories in 50 seconds, but you still have a mile of running left. So then I'm just like I did my bike this I think the same speed as Dylan did, and it doesn't take that much out of me. So I'm just still backing off on the bike, which is still better than a lot of people still. So that I can still be able to run that last 1,500.
Yeah, so
which is a metric mile, Dave. If you didn't know,
there you go, buddy. So instead of using the bike as like a weaponized thing where you're using it to get this really low time on the bike and make time ground there, instead you're using it almost not as a rest, but where you can equal other people's bike times but come off fresher.
Yeah, because like at Worlds, I was just dead for the last 8 minutes of the race, and that's where David Magida caught me because he didn't go crazy on the bike. Like it just kind of makes sense to just do that like at 80% and still be able to hammer the runs afterwards, which I have never been able to do till these last 2 races. Well, actually, this is this last race.
So let me ask you, Anthony, this then. Because
let's ask Anthony. Come on.
I really want to hear Anthony's opinion on this because it seems to me that's what we keep learning is like, oh, this person did really great. What happened? Well, they had a great back of the race and everyone else kind of fucking lost it. So, Anthony, when would you not want to have that strategy of making the back half, whether HYROX or DEKA?
I don't know what you mean by that question. Would you not want to have what strategy? I was gonna say, look at the way to look at that, like for Nick is, can you go 6 seconds faster on every single run? Then it doesn't matter if you're a minute slower than the fastest person on the bike. If you're 6 seconds faster on every single run, you get 1 minute on the bike. Everything else being equal, you finish the same time. And imagine how much better your energy feels in the back half then. Right. I mean, it's a lot easier when you just think about, oh, it's only 6 seconds per run. So
for 500.
Yeah, 500, that's a lot of time.
Well, it's for 500, that's like 20 seconds faster per mile pace.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but it's definitely doable.
If he's saying he's doing a 6 minute versus a 5:40, what's the difference in energy for you in that?
Well, I'd say that's the difference between like 5K pace and 10K pace, which mean.
But it's for him. It's for him though. Like, I don't know what your 5K and 10K
this is what I'm asking you. This is what I'm asking you, right?
Not good.
Young Daniel, right, was leading the race to the first 2 stations, right? So first 5 stations, right? But a lot of good that did him. Didn't even finish on the podium. So what I'm saying is, when would you not want to do what Nick is doing, or a lot of these athletes that seem to do really well in they're not. It's not that he's going slow.
Well, it depends
when you're like Ryan Shaday, and you just go.
Yeah, unless you're the 1% of the 1%, unless you're Rylan, right? Or Meg or Lauren, if you're not those 3 people.
I mean, if you have more energy, if doing the bike as hard as you can, like, I don't even know what your fastest you could actually do the bike in is. Like if you're going to go bubble speed on the bike, right, versus the minute 20 you did and the amount of energy you have, how does that affect your sled in the next one? How does it affect your burpees and the D-balls, you know? If you're losing 10 seconds on each of those stations because of your effort on the bike, then it's not worth it.
Well, I found out when I was going really hard on the bike, my stations, the last 3 stations I didn't get worse at them at all. I'm still the same at them, but my runs were significantly slower. I was going, instead of running 148s, 150s of those, I was going like 2 minutes. That's
So
12 seconds.
10 to 12 seconds.
24. That's 30. That's 36 seconds. That's almost 40 seconds in a mile.
I mean, that takes away even the first 7 runs. Then you only have to go 3 seconds faster to make up for a slower bike. If you can finish stronger like that.
So I'm playing around
Energy
with a bunch of
management.
different stuff, and then I'm just vibing.
I always think you should play to your strengths, and running is 2/3 of the DEKA FIT race. So
I feel like I'm doing a bad job asking the question. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Dave Claxton?
I know what you're trying to say, Matt.
Yeah, you're trying to say you need to save it for the second half of the race, and when is it a beneficial thing to go out really, really hot?
And it's almost never beneficial to go out really, really hot.
Always depends on what kind of racer you are.
I would say Lauren might have disproved that many times that it is a benefit to go
It
really,
depends
really hot.
on what type of racer you are.
Yeah, you got to play to your strengths, and you got to do your race. So there are
I'm
times.
saying everybody thinks they're going to be Rylan or Hunter or Lauren or Megan. They're not. So why not do that? That's what I'm saying.
Because if those ones do it and they get a lead on you, how are you going to catch them?
Well, you might not ever catch them, but you can get on the podium.
Well,
it depends if you're racing to win.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is that
I wasn't looking at a podium. Like, you're looking to the win. Like, that's what you're there to do.
Tara's there to win, right? Tara's there to win and can win.
Are you racing or time trialing? It depends on what are you trying to get?
Well, I know at least like Lauren makes me race a lot different than I normally race like I did this week. Because I think we on beat for World 2 years only actually like 12 seconds ahead of me, but because she had gapped me so much in the beginning, you think that she's like way too far to catch. So, like Nick's probably heard the term like breaking the chain. So when you run and like when people get too far ahead of you, like they stop racing you. So I feel like that's Lauren's strategy. She tries to break people and then they stop racing Lauren and start racing the people around them. So, I mean, if you're willing to like hurt a lot at the beginning and just like hang on, I think it's a very volatile way to race, and you're going to be a lot less consistent with it because you're not as in control. But I think that's how hybrid you race to win. Like, it's weird because you don't race that way in running. Like, you wouldn't go out a 10K in like 30 seconds per mile faster than you were anticipating on running the whole 10K because that'd just be silly. But somehow in hybrid, people that.
By the way, I muted everybody because I think that's why she was spotty. So just mute yourself when you're not talking because I think that's why hers, because I think it brings in other people's sound. I guess I'm looking at everybody that's listening to this show, not the elite people, that you're probably not going to just go out hot and stay hot. You should look at having a strong back half of the race. So, that's what I'm looking at.
I don't think Tara ever saw me run a race. Positive splits for life. But I don't know. Maybe Tara, you were commenting the SoCal DEKA FIT, weren't you? And you saw me run out the team's race.
Oh yeah, and then y'all lost.
Well,
y'all lost
because I can't hold on. Because I'm not as fast as those guys, even though I tried to be.
So
I mean, you have to burn yourself a few times to like kind of realize where your ceiling is, and if you're not like, I don't know if your background is in running or not, so like. Knowing
his background is in wrestling.
Okay, so not running. But I don't know. I feel like some people are just willing to suffer more. So it depends on what kind of race you want to run. And like, I think if you're patient, like you'll win sometimes, but you're not going to usually win that way. You're basically waiting for other people to make a mistake. So you're always consistent, but then like you're never actually making a move.
Yeah, you got to stay if you want to win, you got to stay within striking distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you let them get to, like, if someone starts lapping you in a DEKA, right, and they're going around, it's going to be, it's like when they get around that corner in OCR and they're out of sight. All of a sudden they're gone and you're now pacing again and you're not chasing.
Well, that's what happened to me with Morgan. I thought she was actually at World Championships till we got to the ball. And then I realized because she got off the bike and I had my back facing her. So like she had got around the corner and me and Lauren were just running together. So I was like, oh, it's just me and Lauren racing now. And I was like, well, I have the back half locked up. Like I'm very confident in the last few stations. We'll just run together. And then I realized when we got there, like Morgan's already there. So I was like in a panic. So
Well, even
you have to stay in the race. Like you got to know where you are. And like it helps to have people, I guess, giving you splits and stuff. But you have to mentally kind of be really aware of your positioning.
But even in OCR, it's more like a running race where, yes, if you lose contact, you're probably never going to see him again. But we've just seen too many people race the back half really strong and, again, end up on the podium. So listen, if you think you can win, which I guess people think they can, and then you do that a bunch and you don't, maybe look at a different strategy.
You should always time trial your first couple just to see where your ability's at, and then you can play with it.
I mean, you know, if you're going to like, as a guy, break 30 or not. So there's no reason to like, if you're a 33 guy, to go out with people who are going to run 29.
So that's what I'm saying. Okay. Thank you
for
for
just want to feel it. If you want to feel it and burn up, see where you die.
But the thing is, I guess if you're a runner, like it might be your best strategy to like hit the front hard because you're probably going to be worse at the back half anyways, because that's the heaviest stations. Heaviest relative. Yeah, the bike. And I mean, even the smaller athletes have problems with the sled. Even though it's not that heavy, you just can't move it
how
as
much
well.
Power you can create. Yeah. The bike and the sled go together that way.
How did you look at this race, Tara, for you? If you're doing this, like you didn't go to HYROX Worlds and you're just doing DEKAs, like for this, was this like, okay, like I could win, I could not win. This is just like kind of staying in shape, or do you want to win every time you step out at DEKA?
I mean, my only goal I feel like was I know if I break 35, like I'd probably secure a spot at Worlds. So that's really was my main goal. I didn't know a lot of the other people hadn't raced before. So you kind of, I mean, I know Jess is fit, like she's done other stuff, but she hadn't ran a DEKA. So it's hard for me to kind of like look at what she's done before and kind of how she races and then make a strategy from that. So it's kind of just going off feel for the field.
Did you know Jess was going to be there the whole time, or was this kind of sprung on you when you got there? You found out she's there, because I would have thought that might have changed your race strategy for you.
No, Matt had like put out that she was going to be there, and I had just saw her at Thieves and Beggars, so I knew she was like fit. And she has like a 20 mid-mile, and I think she ran in college, so I was like, she's definitely can put together a good race. It's just
it was Jess's first DEKA. I knew it was somebody. I thought it was Alex's first, but it was Jess's.
Alex's first too.
It was her second, she said. It was her first elite.
Okay, I got you. So,
but yeah, you did what you needed. You got yourself a spot. Like, so you're set for Worlds. You're 33, 32?
30, 33, 30, something like that.
Are you looking at splits, Anthony?
Well, I have the DEKA FIT pulled up. She was 33, 38 for Tara.
So last year would have took sub 35 probably to get in.
Last year
for fit. Yeah.
No, because
last year was like 36, right?
No, but I believe it's going to be 15 this year, not 20.
Yeah.
Why would he do that, by the way?
Copying HYROX.
One heat.
One wave.
One
as
heat.
opposed to 2 waves. Yeah.
Which I like because especially with the strong and the mile, like your times are so like similar, like you're gonna have a lot closer of a bunch. And I feel like you should get to race everybody that you're actually gonna race. Like I don't want to time trial a world championship.
Well, the bottom 5.
Somebody from Heat 2 coming up and winning.
But they can't. They can't. They probably aren't though.
I don't know.
Right?
There's a differential between like the courses.
Strong and mile, they could definitely come from Heat 2 because of the difference in the gym courses.
Yeah, big time. But I think that there could be like they don't even have to have the same equipment at the gym. So I mean, they could have like the whatever those machines are, Dave, the ski ergs, the
Zybex. Oh no, the really I don't.
P2 PB
The
something.
Martell brand.
I think those ones have been banned.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you're right. You could get some very different setups, very different stuff, different, like Anthony says, different gym layouts. Could be much faster, much slower. Can be a big difference. I think too, with the 15 or whatever, just having one wave is not only just so that you can see everybody you're racing, but also now that they're having age group teams, there's a lot more races to be run. So you need to get less waves in so that you can get everybody through.
There was not age group teams last time?
No, there was no age group teams, only elites.
I think if they run 15 miles, DEKA miles at the same time on that course, it's going to be like massive. Like,
Well, Anthony did say he wants it to be roller derby out there on the run
NASCAR.
course, right? So
Being part of that team mile,
I
it
don't like
was chaos for the first beginning. And like I said, I had Bethany who almost got trampled twice. And but I get where Yancey's coming from. It is exciting, but 15, unless they widen the running area, is going to be very crowded.
Well, and it's not just that. Like I remember on our team race in SoCal, I came around a corner and I was running, and a girl from the outside tried to cut into a station, and I barreled in, like almost tripped over her, and I'm running, and it's like, so it slows down the race, and like I don't want to hurt her as she's going into a station, you know.
Now that shouldn't happen at Worlds though, because you're not going to have other people out in front of you, right? Like it's much more streamlined where you'll be out on the courses all on your own. There shouldn't be anyone running in the zone.
I just think we were a station ahead of them.
Yeah.
In that race, and so I mean, yeah, the people will be more equally matched at Worlds, but I don't like let's roller derby it. It's exciting to see crashes. No, it's not. These are athletes.
How are you going to have enough volunteers for? It's like it's already all day, and they were hurting for volunteers last year. If they've added all these waves, don't you think they're going to have problems, Dave?
Well, that's why they said what they're trying to do is not add waves. That's why they're condensing, putting more people into singular waves, so that you still will have the same amount of races. The problem is what you're getting at though is that instead of having however many last time, was it 12 or 10, however many they would put out, now you need 15 judges out there at the same time. So you do need more volunteers to go. I don't know how they're going to set it up. I don't know how they're planning to make better judging or get more volunteers. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, they are going to need more volunteers, and they're going to need good quality judges.
The good news is they will be at that same venue in September for the last one of the year, so they get a little trial run at what they can do and maybe learn some efficiencies. But it is more people, even if you cut it down. If you're saying you've added this whole new thing called age group, right?
Can we get 15 Daves out there?
No reps everywhere.
They have to be vetted. It doesn't. Giving a no rep does not make you a good judge.
Yeah,
no,
Dave.
As well as not giving no reps does not make you a good judge.
Giving Matt a no rep now.
Tara, I definitely was pleased to see the improvement on your burpees, by the way, Tara. Good job.
Hey, you changed the standard. I meet the standard. I just can't help they had a shitty standard.
Wow, look at you.
That's right.
Nick,
Athletes are going to meet the standard as fast as they possibly can.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, I like the standard actually because you have to stand up straight, like when you extend your arms overhead. So it completely eliminates like that weird hunchy thing that I was doing.
That everybody was doing.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look good. I think it looks better now, like optically. That like the burpees look better.
Yeah, I think that there has been improvement. We had that one really bad scenario, and then they're looking at like the burpees I saw at the last race looked a lot better, and they progressively get better and better as long as the judges keep on it and keep going. And the only thing one of the things they really need to look out for is people getting full extension, but on like a 45-degree angle in front of them instead of directly overhead. Right. And that's something they got to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And like Houston, Texas says, it would be lovely to have paid well-trained judges. I just don't think that's going to happen. Not that they won't be well-trained, but I don't think they'll be paid.
They won't be paid.
Right.
All right. Anything else on DEKA before we move on to some of the other topics we have, like HYROX?
HYROX.
Never heard of it.
There are other things besides HYROX.
There was.
What's that?
I mean, you have other things on the list besides even HYROX.
I was also going to say.
Go, Jabari.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say there was one cool thing. There was an engagement.
Oh, I actually train
Yes.
Elaine. I train they got engaged.
Really?
Yeah, she lives in Wilmington.
Did they propose at the DEKA finish line?
They did it up on the podium stage.
Did they actually podium, or is this a podium scenario? Like, is this something we need to be angry about?
Yeah, second in age group.
No,
Okay.
they
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
That's awesome. All right.
Oh yeah,
All right.
It was beautiful though. It was
brother run relay teams or whatever.
All right. So I've got a couple HYROX topics. I've got a
Tara, were you trying to talk to me there? You cut out. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Just trying to like get you to say that me and Colin beat you, but
Yeah. Colin
We-
and Tara beat my brother and I in teams, a guy who has never ran since 8th grade.
a win's a win.
A win's a win.
Did you make it on the podium, Nick?
No, we got 4th.
Oh,
He was pretty intimidated because he did all the stations, so he was in there with Bubbles, and he was just watching, and he was like, "Oh, that was pretty scary." I was super proud of him.
There's nothing worse than doing a station and having Kevin beside you on the bike, just waiting for your partner going, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, he did great though. He did great. I did all the running. He did most of the station work. Super proud of him. He just does F45 every day, so it is what it is.
Nice.
All the runs last year, and I feel like being the runner for DEKA is like the most painful race. I don't know if you ran it like really hard.
No, I didn't.
No. Dave
did
made-
he? Did he used to go? Did he used to go to D1 when you were a D1 guy, and now he's F45?
No, he never came. He never came to do a workout. I never did a workout at D1 either, so I can't blame him.
All right, so I've got a couple of HYROX topics. I've got one non-HYROX topic.
Last
What's that?
DEKA FIT thing, I just want to shout out we had like a couple athletes there, and I just probably won't get all of them, but Keith Hardwick and who took 4th in the men, and then Heidi Williams, who's also always amazing. They did awesome.
Salute to
there.
the both.
Keith also predicted.
I know Keith.
Keith predicted he would come
Yeah.
in 4th.
He did.
So good job,
He did.
Keith.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
What did you want to talk about that wasn't HYROX related, Anthony? Is it on our
You
list or
have,
not?
you have something on the list there that you sent.
Tennessee,
Okay.
Tennessee Volunteers played in the College World Series championship game in about 20 minutes.
Does anybody care?
I'm literally wearing my Tennessee dad shirt.
I'm sorry. I went to Oregon State when they were
I'm
back to back.
about to go to Yeehaw and go watch them.
Oh, you had to do that,
I would-
Anthony. You had to do that, man.
I went to Oregon State when they
Yeah,
went
do
to back-to-back World Series championships, and so I was.
So
pretty
you know how
upset
important this is for me.
Oh,
I didn't
I
go
was-
to Tennessee, but
they lost.
I'm a fan.
If you follow baseball, it's a fun game to watch.
I'm important. This is important to me.
It's the only best of 3 World Series I'd ever see, or final.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes, Matt.
Sorry, I'm looking for my email because I want to talk about the.
There's
the
also, if anybody follows hockey, Dave, the Stanley
we're
Cup.
gonna,
I can't believe it's 3-0 and then 3-0 and now
Big
we're
sports
Game
night.
7.
That's right. That's right.
we're gonna have that up. We're gonna have the Tennessee game up.
Is-
And when the
is it gonna be the
1500
first-
comes up, I'm gonna have it.
Is it going to be the first Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup in how long?
Since
70s.
93.
93.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win. That would be the most Oilers thing to do, would be to come back and lose the final game, huh?
I wasn't
Yeah.
born yet.
Really?
No.
Man, they got the momentum right
Be a hell of a
now.
game.
Hey,
Yeah. Going to be a good game, but Oilers have all the momentum right now.
They have the super fans.
I got to say, the Florida team,
Be more specific, Nick.
I'm a Golden Knights fan, so the Florida team kind of put me off last year, just their attitudes in the finals.
Okay.
So I don't know, but the Oilers too. So
All right. Thanks for having me on. I gotta go watch that game.
Bye, buddy.
Hey, congrats, Nick.
Bye.
Great race.
Thank you.
Good job, Nick.
Nick told me he was not going to be on, and then he ended up being on, so that was pleasant. Let's move on to HYROX news. So I got an email today that I will now share with the class that says the following. Oops, hang on. It said, build strength and stamina and confidence. Unlock total well-being with Center. Center's here to give me coaching, blah, blah, blah. Use this code, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, all right, well, I'm still waiting for this HYROX 365, which is supposed to be some sort of app scenario, and they still haven't told us. And then on the very same day, this was shared on the UK HYROX channel, and that was they're thrilled to announce a partnership with Relentless Method, with their cutting edge Relentless HYROX program. Relentless are here to revolutionize your training. Join us on your journey. Blah 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 blah. So what the hell are they doing?
Who's the coach of Relentless?
I don't know.
Is it just AI powered? So it's just AI, so I can just go to ChatGPT and ask for a HYROX program, and that's their method?
No,
That's
they're saying that they've got leverage advanced AI, which is just, I think, a term that people just use.
It says a personal coach powered by AI, though.
All right, let's go to their page. There it is. I mean, that's what's his name.
Scott Panchak.
That's right.
Scott Panchak.
So they can't use his photo, can they?
Maybe if
he commented.
Sponsored athlete.
Okay. Here's another one of your CrossFit ladies, right? What's her name?
Is that Sarah Sigmund's daughter?
That is. And this is that the ghost of Aaron Hernandez?
Jesus.
No. Anyway, the point is, what is HYROX doing?
A lot.
Do they realize they're
a lot.
cannibalizing themselves? Do they care? Do these other companies not realize? Like, does Center know that they've got other people coach? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they doing?
What is the difference? Like, is it not a global sponsorship? So HYROX 365, they have their own app, but Center, since they're a sponsor, they can promote, because they've had their app for a long time. They probably just have to add HYROX programs to it. But I don't know what this Relentless one is. So I wonder if it's just each franchise in a different country gets to promote whatever one they want.
Right. But so basically, how would any of them get any value? If part of Center's deal is, hey, there's this Center app, but by the way, every country can do Joe Blow's app.
Look,
and by the way, we're doing our own 365 thing. It just seems very confusing.
There's a lot of room for a lot of good coaches in the space.
Well, I mean, that's a very positive, inclusive message, which I appreciate as a human being. I'm asking as a business, as someone who watches this from a business perspective, it's confusing.
I mean, they pump a lot of them. I don't know. Maybe if you go to HYROX, can you say, hey, can you promote our training? I don't know if they would. Never asked.
Maybe you should see how much it costs to get them to. If they sent out an email to their people about the hybrid engine, do you know how many customers you'd get?
I did the math. If we got 1/5 of 1% of the total people that participated in a HYROX this year, and next year it's supposed to double, which means it would be 1/10 of 1%.
Do you want their numbers?
Then I could full-time coach.
Do you want their numbers, or do you want the real numbers that somebody actually counted?
Well, Mo said 210,000 people completed a HYROX last year.
Okay, not true.
Okay, I have a very specific
What's that?
viewpoint on this HYROX training thing. This is
Well, I'm waiting. So
Let's
lay it on,
hear it, Dave.
lay it on me, and then I'll give you the actual figures of actual finishers.
Okay, don't worry about what HYROX is putting out. Message Tara, message Anthony, message people who know what they're doing, and get them to coach for you. Spend a little bit extra
Bingo.
and get it done right. That's all. That's it.
Okay.
I think all these there's it's like a rush to make another Couch to 5K app and all this stuff. That's and it just there's, like Anthony said, there is a ton of fantastic coaches out there, present company included, that to me are a far better option than any cookie cutter app that you'll
But
find.
but that's what I'm saying is that it's not helping their brand, and it might be hurting them. That's what I'm saying. Like either go all in on it or don't. Just say it's a free. Like everybody do whatever you want and don't bring it up. Or be like, this is the one thing we're doing with all of our coaches and all our affiliates or clubs or whatever they're calling their HYROX 365. I'm just saying it's not really good for the brand.
I wonder, I mean, because they do that, they have their HYROX coaching certification. You can become an affiliate and like have the coach. So why like would they pump their own brand? It seems like they're going backwards, like trying to be kind of like CrossFit did, but they're going at it from a different direction. And I just want to know what the reasoning behind that is, because HYROX is they're the sport of hybrid fitness, but it seems now they're trying to make a methodology of training for it. And so it would be good to know that information, but like CrossFit was a methodology of training first and a sport evolved out of it. Like you don't want to switch which direction you're going. So it'd be good. I would love to know why, like what background, what methodology do they want to teach? Because that can tell you the direction that the sport's going to go in. If they're trying to like have a training method, and it would benefit anybody to know, but you would think that it would be more broad than just, hey, download our app.
I mean, I'm with you though, Anthony. HYROX is just a race. It's not it's not a concept. It's a race.
Yeah.
And,
there's not a methodology to train for it, because there's a ton of methodologies you can use to do well at it.
But that's why I think they should just point people to their affiliates, and then their affiliates can do whatever they want. Maybe they do 3 days a week or whatever it is, but just like if you like build that ecosystem, but not, by the way, here's this thing and this thing and this thing and this cookie cutter garbage. Remember there still was something before 365, Fitter or something.
No, Fitter's the app we use. There's a different app that was something else, but the like going at it, because if you're training for a HYROX, like there's a lot more fitness than just those 9 movements that HYROX has, Yeah. So you have to do a lot more than just those things. And it's not going to build you the best engine, the best fitness that you're going to have for year round, but it is a sport you can compete in. So training for it is going to look different no matter where you go. And I mean, Tara could probably tell you too, the best way to train for HYROX is not just to do a sim every single weekend and try to get better at it. It's
just like if you for a 5K on your way to train for the 5K was like, I'm gonna go run a 5K as fast as I can every time I go train. So there's so many different facets for HYROX. I feel like even more so than running that you can improve on, and you can't just go all out all year round. It's not really sustainable. So there's a lot of strength and base building that you can work on during this period where there's not a lot of racing. But I feel like if people just simmed all the time, they'd just be really burnt out.
Yeah. Even if you like
maybe improvement or doing something that you haven't been doing, and then you're like, oh, I'm getting better, but then you would plateau really quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just tell you guys, like when we program stuff, we don't do a HYROX specific workout until about 4 weeks out from an event, like specifically HYROX type, maybe 4 weeks out. And then it's only twice a week, so it's not like you're not doing that all the time.
All right. Well, listen, I want to talk about this numbers thing really quickly, because here's Brendan, who is said, I went to a HYROX. My training involves all the stations it has, plus some training, plus some running, just saying. And Brendan helps me.
You can do that. You're not going to hit your peak doing that, though.
Like you just have to, if you look at Chris, the girl that won Houston, like she probably didn't do any specific HYROX training and she ran a 64. So like a lot of HYROX is just being like good at running and strong enough to be able to complete the stations without too much fatigue. Which obviously
O'Connell,
Irmo.
Yeah, so her maiden name is Ermo, and then Christy O'Connell.
Okay.
Married name, and she ran a 3:04 marathon after competing at the CrossFit Games, and I mean, obviously she pulled sleds and stuff. I watched some of her YouTube videos leading up to it. She did some like, oh, I'm doing a HYROX in 6 weeks. I'm gonna do this HYROX type workout. You go back.
Realistically, getting ready for HYROX, there's so little skill involved. That
Yeah.
other than really practicing, say, wall balls, because I mean,
Right.
there's that there. Other than practicing that, you could get away and run with, if you have supreme fitness, run a good time without practicing any of the zones specifically, other than wall balls.
First race was like 61, and I don't know that she did any specific training. She's just like, oh, like her background, she has a great engine. She was in CrossFit. She did a lot of, like, I guess more the endurance CrossFit stuff when she was doing teams, and like that kind of training just naturally like leads into HYROX, because it's, again, you just have to be fit and strong and be able to suffer for an hour, which most CrossFit athletes that are probably more on the endurance leaning side can probably do fairly well.
Well, and I think too, Cheryl and Brennan have both kind of said this, that they think these programs and apps and stuff are a lot for the people who are just getting into it, just getting started, and need to kind of an entry level place to start training to figure it out.
I definitely think they should be too. They're targeted at that. Like, honestly, it's, if they're going to get people up and actually working out, and that's where they're going to start, do it. That's the best thing. Like, start there.
All right. Moving on to this numbers thing that I've been trying to talk about. So here's the magical sheet that we have, which is every single racer. And this tiny number here is 160,919. Now, that's a great number. 160,000 is a lot of people. And if you look at the previous year, it was only 47,000, right? Massive jump. So the numbers are fine. They just exaggerate. There's a possible, we got to stop that so people don't steal my amazing info. It's possible they do some cheating where, like, that's the 23-24 season, championship to championship. But if they stretch it a little bit, which I think they might do, like, oh, let's go back at a 23 and call that all of this season, like, because the numbers never quite added up. Because I've looked at their emails over the years, or the reports. Every time there's an interview, Mo or Christian will say this is how many events and this is how many people, and it's always been a little bit more. So they're either cheating the calendar or just what's the word?
Inflating,
which race directors do too. If they want to say that many people registered for a race, that's possible. But you had 160,000 finishers, and by the way, it's actually way less than that, because most of those people are doing doubles and relays and whatever, but we don't pull them out. We still count it.
do they include like spectator tickets in there too?
Well, you said participated in a race. You didn't say
Well,
spectator tickets.
that was what Mo said. So that's.
But they love to do. All races will say that 5,000 people raced, and 5,000 people spectated, which is not usually necessarily the truth. Again, it's a number to be thrilled with. It's a great number, but it's not 200,000.
I think it's a lot like car companies, and especially like you think of like a Ferrari kind of thing, where, you know, maybe Lamborghini comes out with a car with 500 horsepower, and Ferrari will magically turn around and goes, ours has 550. You know, it's just you're allowed to kind of float a little bit around with it and just fudge it just a little bit.
In peak conditions with the right kind of gas.
Exactly. You can get 55 miles to the gallon
if you use rocket fuel.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, yes, their numbers are off. Yes, they're saying the wrong things. The question is, do we give a shit?
Well, I do, just because I pay attention to this stuff. And I don't like that journalists are lazy and don't check. So anytime they talk to the New York Times or Fortune, whoever, they're like, yeah, we did this many events. It's like, okay, like nobody checks. Like, just do a little bit of homework, guys. That's all.
Well, Matt, since you have the numbers then, because I haven't looked at this, how many, they said they were going to double the amount of events from last year to this year. How many events are on the calendar already for this year?
So
is it double yet?
So there were 54 from championship to championship, right? So the race after the championship was New York. And then if you include Nice, that's 54 weekends. Okay.
So we're looking at 108 for next year. How many are on the calendar already?
Great question. It was 25 when I made that video the other day. So it could be a couple more, maybe 27. So they could get there.
We can get there.
Here's the question that I posed, that I put in the notes. This Malaga was just announced for pre-sale. And so should we assume any European date we see is not a major? Because if they were going to do it, they'd throw that little logo up there? Or do you think they'd sneak and make it a major later?
They can make it a major later. If you look back at like last year's email, right, they said originally that there was a European championship, the North American championship, the HYROX major that will be moving. And then there was at the time they called it the the Scandinavian or something championship, and that was where Stockholm was, right?
Yeah.
I think what they did is they renamed the HYROX major to Asia Open Championship. So now Asia gets one. The APAC area will have a major. You'll still have the U.S. Championship or North American Championship. Sorry, Dave, and the European Championship, and then you have one floater that I think will either go to Middle East or to UK.
The only difference though is, Dave, Anthony, whatever your fucking name is. Remember, when it's a major, there's like no Elite 15 or no pro. Like there's something missing. So
no, only at the Open Championships. Chicago still had pro division. Stockholm still had pro division. Only the championship races did not have a pro division.
I'm confused by what you said.
So Chicago was a major. That was the HYROX major this last year. That had a pro division in it. Stockholm was a major, but not a championship.
What didn't have it in it? Just name the ones that didn't.
Only the European Championship and the North American Championship did not have a pro division.
Where was the North American Championship?
DC.
So DC and
Vienna.
Vienna
didn't have elite waves.
No, they didn't have pro waves.
Didn't have pro waves. Just age group and then the Elite 15.
Open and the Elite 15, yeah.
So
I feel like you have more info. Is there only going to be one major in the U.S.?
Did you ask me or Matt?
You.
No, I think there's only going to be
believe
one in the U.S. I think so.
Why do they hate America so much?
I think they're going to put the LCQ here. This is all assumptions, just based on looking at the past, what they said, and what is projecting. But I think they're going to put the one major in the LCQ in America, two majors in Europe, Middle East, and then one in APAC.
So let's go. Let's take a look. Let's go to the seat. Let's go to the website here. HYROX.
Pure speculation.
Pure speculation.
Okay, so while Matt's doing that, I think Cheryl's right. They need to stop the crazy, weird Open Championship names and things and just run the races properly.
I just don't understand why they can't have a pro wave, even if it's the Open Championship.
Well, I think they're trying to do it because in the World Championships, they don't have a pro division or they don't have an open division. So that is the championships for anybody that's running open are those European Championship and U.S. Champion or North American Championship.
Except that you can get into the Pro Championship by running open.
The U.S. only has 8 races. You can qualify for the Elite 15. So we have like 8 pro races. They run one outside. They have one with no pro wave. And then they have 27 races in Europe that you can qualify. So,
Sarah, I know. Did you know that if anybody in North America, and I can pull it up, I redid their 2024-2025 major qualification rankings of where everybody is at since they hadn't updated the site. Mm-hmm. And I did it the same way where I knocked off all the 2023 times and then took people's 2024 times as their best time if they were getting knocked off or something and reseeded it. If the Asia Open Championships is the first major, it's the same weekend as Dallas, and it's the weekend after Chicago, which means Chicago and Dallas cannot qualify you for Asia Championships based off of this year's rules. That means the only North American race that you could use to get into the first assumed major is Toronto, which is already sold out in not 2 days.
However, my ticket is for sale for $7,000.
So yeah, this Malaga race is not in fact on sale yet. So they could, when they're actually on sale, because I just clicked it. I don't know if you saw it. It's just the pre-sale. They could say, okay, that's a major.
They could, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they did last year. They just changed Anaheim to, this is our LCQ, and I think Vienna was already announced, and then they turned it into a major. So the European Open Championships.
I just feel we're more like pay to play unless you're like top 5. Like that's why I went to Doha because I was like, well, the Dubai race was super fast. Like I don't know if they're just trying to like run fast times over there, but
right now, Tara, you're sitting in 12th place as a reseed.
Yeah, there's 32. There's 32 by the way.
Before the season starts, you're sitting in 12th, which means.
Sure? I feel like I looked at it and I was like in 8th.
No, all right. You want me to present it? I don't
Yeah.
know if I can.
Yes, please. If you could present it.
All right, I'm going to close this down. I just want to say there are 32. I just recounted. So 32 races already for this season.
And what do we got to get to? 104, something like that?
And there's in the men's race, I think there's like 4 guys that ran that Berlin outdoor thing that ran like 56, 57, that they're like really high up there. And I don't think besides that race, they've ran under an hour for a few of them.
Doesn't matter. All the courses are the same. Time is a construct, whatever crazy shit we want to say.
So if you reseed everything, this is assumptions based on last year, right? So they said if you win a major, then you're automatically in. And there was only 5 auto qualifiers last year, so I kept it to 5. If it extends down to 5th place, then James Kelly, who's already in 6th, and Paleo would get an auto qualifier on the men's side. But
do you have pink because these are the girls' names you're considering, and the blue is the boys' names you're
no.
considering?
So they're color
next
coded.
child?
The people that are highlighted are people that were in the World Championships this last year, which means you can see these are the people highlighted ran in the World Championships. Green is they were the replacement person for somebody that was in the World Championships, and same here. So if you look at like Rebecca Mason's missing, and then Rylan, David, and Colin would be off. They'd be lower than this. So
I would be interested to see what it looked like without any pre-qualifying. So no
everybody that's auto qualified would still be in the elite 15. Would still be in 15th.
Yeah.
The lowest one is Dylan, and he would still be in 11th. Interesting is that I was looking at this earlier. So 2 years ago, at the start of the 2022 season, the world record for the women was a 1:03:37. So it was sitting right here, which means that's pretty awesome. And the men at the start of the 2022 season, before Tobias broke Hunter's record that year at the beginning of the year, was like a 57 something. So all the men's times are faster than that, which is pretty neat. But this shows that the women this year are going to have to run under 64 to qualify, and the men are going to have to run probably under 57 in order to qualify by the end of the year. But I didn't notice this at the Worlds in Nice this year. Seka Arning became the 7th woman to ever break a 62:30, and the 5th woman to ever break a 62.
Will your time for Worlds count though?
Yeah.
It did last year.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, DEKA doesn't count.
I don't think it should.
Well,
not?
the way I
season.
did it is the same way they did it last year, where any times are based off of a race ran after January 1st, 2024.
Oh no, I think you did it right according to what they will do.
Yeah.
Do. I just think personally that World Championship shouldn't count towards the next season. That's part of the previous season.
So then
It's actually
4 World Championships then also shouldn't count.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that, and I don't know where you draw that line because
So
everything.
then, Dave, you're against us too, just like all the Europeans. You don't want any U.S. people racing.
No, Tara, I've got you up there.
Right.
Come on.
We have like 2 that we get to qualify, Dave. It's a rough world out here trying to be an American in HYROX.
What I noticed is that all the APAC, I wonder if it's just like they're trying to capture a certain season, because all the APAC races are earlier in the season, and all the US races seem to be later in the season.
Well, and that's pretty interesting too, because I mean, you have Lauren, Meg, and I guess you could say Vivian, who are the top 3 right now. Are they going to travel to Asia? And how many people are actually going to travel? So you're going to take the first major, and you could have like somebody.
You get somebody sitting in that 30th or 40th spot qualify for Worlds from that first major.
You get like a 110.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what the course is going to be like. You might not have the full gambit of people there, if that's the first major. Now we still assumed it because they haven't announced it, and Matt did say something interesting. They didn't announce last year spots for the majors until like July 10th. So we still got a couple weeks probably until they say anything. But there's already races happening this coming weekend for the next season. It would be nice to know, like, hey, before the season kicks off, if people need to make travel plans of, hey, maybe I have to go travel to Europe to get a time, it would be nice to know early.
Yeah, Singapore and Melbourne are this weekend.
Yeah.
Melbourne's 2 days.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then Sydney and Brisbane are a couple weeks after that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's one every week in September and almost every week in October. Yeah, every week in October, multiple Birmingham and Madrid. Those are going to be like all sold out. Those are last weekend of October. The next weekend, Hamburg and Poland, those will probably sell out. These are all 2-day events that are all going to sell out.
So can we expect the times to drop like they did last year? Like, I mean, comparatively, can you expect that it will be that much harder to get a time to get in this year as it was compared to last year?
Is every region going to have the center sponsored equipment, or is the Middle East still going to have like?
Well, it's weird because in the Middle East, the sleds were easier and they had the old equipment.
They had the old equipment and they had those nice pole ropes too.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if we get 5 majors? Wouldn't that be amazing?
No, because you're going to get 3 at each and then 1 at the LCQ. So you'll get 4 on the LCQ, which essentially is just another major, but it's the last
3.
one.
You'll get 3 out of the LCQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back to look at that date of July, and you think this year, like that was all brand new. This year, you feel like they kind of know already what they want to do, so they should be able to get it out at the same time or sooner. But again, they could still be working on venue deals for some of these majors. We don't know.
They could be working on how to get in. They didn't say anything. Maybe they're switching up qualifications. Maybe they are trying to get rid of the time thing. But if they are and they still want to have majors, maybe they're reducing the majors 2 or 3 or something. But if they are and they're still doing that, you would think that they would want to be like, okay, if they're going a different route, these 3 events qualify you for this major. They would announce that early on so that you can get into those events.
Well, last year they told us at World Championships how you would qualify for the next year.
They said the structure at World Championships of there's going to be 4 majors, there's going to be a last chance qualifier, and you have to finish in the top 5, but only 3 people get it unless there's a roll down. Like they said that at World Championships last year, but they didn't tell you where. So maybe they're going to roll with the same structure. That's what I assume. They're going to roll with the same structure and just have the announcements of where in July again.
There is the possibility that they just don't have the venues and everything ironed out yet.
I mean, what if it's just, Mintra's on maternity leave, and Jakob's on paternity leave, and maybe they run the whole show, and we just don't know anything until they come back.
Maybe.
All right, I'll be right back. Hang on, guys.
Matt has gone on paternity leave.
What?
Matt has gone on paternity leave.
Matt has gone on paternity leave.
All right. So last year, what was roughly the time to qualify for Worlds? Was like for women, say, was a 105, somewhere around there?
Yeah, to qualify for the Elite 15 in a major, I think, if you ran under a 105, you could get into a major.
Definitely be in for sure.
Okay.
I think it was more like a 66 or 67.
So this year, what do you think the times will end up being for that?
64. You're gonna have to go under 64 if you want to guarantee your spot. Already, you have to go under 64 to guarantee your spot into a major.
Well, no, last year was actually faster now that I think about it, because I had a 64.17 and I didn't get into Vienna. Like I thought, oh yeah, that's going to get me in the whole year. And it didn't, even with roll down. So
there's a lot of women in between that 104 to 118, 104.18 zone.
Yeah. Anthony, how much of the decrease of speed do you think is due to sleds and courses versus due to overall just athletic performance?
I mean, as a new sport, you'd expect 5 to 7% increase, maybe that seems a little excessive. Maybe 3 to 5% increase or decrease in time each year just for performance. As a new sport, like, you know, times get faster and faster and faster. But the biggest jump, the absolute biggest jump we've seen though, is the start of the 2022 season, right? Times that season, like the top times went from Lauren's 2021 World Championship was a 103.43, and by the end of that year, the women were running under an hour.
Yeah. I guess I just think about the sleds like 2021 era, and like I just can't imagine that so much stronger that I would push like a 530 sled then and push like a 230 sled now.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because if you go back and look, even in the discrepancies between the European and American venues that we always used to talk about, right, was like, well, the sleds are easier in Europe. It seems like in 2022, maybe 2023, that kind of fixed a little, because the men were pushing like 230 on the sleds in Europe back in like 2021, right? Yeah. When Hunter got beat in 2021 at the World Championships, it's because Tobias and Alex and those guys had, like, they pushed strong sleds, and Hunter pushed a strong sled. It's just the lighter sleds favored those other guys at that time. Now Hunter comes out and says that he's out of shape during that World Championship anyway. So it could be a mixture of both.
Well, even venue to venue, if you looked at New York, like the sled pushes were kind of normal, maybe slightly fast, but the sled pulls, people almost consistently pulled faster than they pushed, which is not like really common in any race.
No.
And they were significantly lighter, which is just like, I don't know, how you kind of account when you have a time-based qualification system, like those kind of factors, like could be,
well, what would have
2 minutes?
What would have changed in Vegas of 2022 if they hadn't taken a weight off the sleds? Because everybody that wasn't in the elite race, everybody that ran in the pro still had that weight on their sled. And I remember them saying how much heavier it was, right? But in the elite race, they took a weight off. So I'm just wondering, like, what would have changed if they hadn't done it then?
Well, it changes the race. Like,
well, yeah.
Were you there? Were you there? You were there in Vegas. Were you, Tara?
Yeah, I was there. I think I was like 6th.
Did we talk in Vegas? I don't remember seeing you there.
Probably not. You didn't even know that I ran obstacle races till like a year ago.
Be quiet. That's not true.
I only had like 25 podiums in Spartan, but you know, Matt didn't even know that
Yes, I did. That's not true. Why would you say that?
Because you said that. You said this.
You know, Tara, so you asked if it's a big difference between people getting fitter and better at the sport.
Well, obviously are getting fitter, but I think that like the race has also changed. Like the race has gotten faster, and I don't think like, I mean, I think Bethany would be a good example. Like I couldn't see her moving the sled that I had to move in 2021 because like,
or the one I had to move in 2020.
So Bethany did a race in Chicago in like 2020 or 2021, right? And she had like a 7 or 9 minute sled, like for both of them.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And then she did Chicago this last year, and it was down to like 4 minutes or something.
Yeah. It's and we can take Matt into account too. So like Matt was just saying, his sled push in his first one was a 10:28, and now we're seeing him in relays do like under 3 minutes. So as much as I know Matt has been working very hard on his power, I don't think
show them guns.
Show
them guns.
The gun show.
Yeah.
You didn't think I had that in me, did you, Tara? You're like, Matt's old. Look at him.
Well, I just think like now it's almost opening up to like a different type of athlete. Like before, I feel like you would have to be a lot stronger to stay competitive. But now I feel like the sleds aren't as much as a limiting factor. Like you could be somebody like Belle. Like Belle was tiny. Like I know she's not really racing anymore, but like you can have people that are built like that and still be able to push the sleds really fast.
Yeah.
Where would a Paleo fit in 2020?
I mean, Paleo's not any skinnier than Dylan.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Paleo has that power pack, right? Like, I mean, he's obviously gets by on his running. The sleds are where he needs to. I think if you put those sleds, the heavier sleds, the way they were, I don't think Paleo is near as much of a factor.
Oh yeah, like it. I think it would break the runners. Like, I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of like the lighter sleds. I keep them like they are. We don't need to change them. They're heavy enough.
Well, I mean, if you go back and look at just top end, the world records in 2021, it is now for the women 5 minutes and 40 seconds faster than it was then. And so that's 3 years later.
Can you compare just the sleds from those world record times?
If you give me a minute.
Because
I mean, listen, as long as they don't make it so like they take away the sled completely, or it's just, hey, it's just a runner's race, right? Like that's not going to happen. So you still have to do a lot of things besides just be fast, and people find that out. When they show up.
So look at Brendan King's comment.
The more power you have, the faster like the sleds you can do, and then you can run off them too. So, but I was just going to say, like, to finish my thought, the men's world record from that same time, like, well, started 2022 season, we'll just put, actually, since it's been 2 years now. The last 2 years, the women's record has gone down 5 minutes and 40 seconds. The men's record has gone down 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So with the, was it 2022 also that they started regulating the distance of the rock zone in relation to the race? Because I know when we were at Chicago, Lauren won. She was like 4 months pregnant. Like that rock zone was like 6 minutes. Like,
yeah, that was a massive rock zone.
And they didn't account for that. Like the runs were still the same.
The runs were, they used to not have like a standard rock zone. And now after, I think Vegas in 2022, I think is when I talked to Christian, and he said they're going to standardize it to all 8,700 meters.
Okay. So that makes a big difference too. I mean, you could be running some races that are 8,900 meters, and then you could run some races that are. Well, so I mean,
those earlier years for sure, like Chicago back in like 2020, 2021, and Dallas when it was not at that hotel center but the convention center one. I'm sure there was like 9,200 meters of running total in those. They were so long.
So, like, obviously people have gotten better, but I think the race has changed in some ways that have also made times.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Would Emily's question there, isn't the weight on the sleds and stuff the same? Why is it faster now than it was?
Well,
okay, so the weight is different.
Yeah, after Vegas, when they pulled the weight off, then they came out and said the weight of the sled and the weights included, and it ended up taking like, I don't remember, maybe 10 to 15 kilograms off total from both the men. Like, I think it was the ratio actually, I think changed. I think more came off the men's than came off the women's.
Well, the way it was before, I can't remember the exact weight they said that went on the sled, but that was the weight not including the sled.
Yeah.
And now they included the sled. Weight is including the sled.
But they eliminated the handles of the sled. And because Europe had different length of handles and they were hollow versus the American steel handles that were shorter, that's what they said the difference was.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think the sleds are lighter, plus they move better. And it's been a combination of things to make it just so that it is so much different compared to what it was. Like you'll never see somebody like Kurnikov having a 9-minute sled with the sleds that are there now.
But it's weird too. Like, I mean, I was watching World Championships. Like, if you look at, like, I was watching the women push, and obviously Anthony probably knows. I mean, Lauren's sled just wouldn't move.
Yeah.
Like,
can we not bring this up again?
But then you look at the sled time. Yeah. You look at the sled times for the age group championships. Like, Vivian pushed the fastest sled in the elite heat, and she would have been like 58th in the open.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're telling me those two sleds are the same.
Well, and then in the
don't get Anthony started on sleds, guys.
Time, I'm not going to say anything. The open time is also earlier in the day, so it wasn't as hot yet. and as humid in the venue, the time, and that carpet they have does expand and contract variably. So like that, you can find differences there, especially throughout the day.
All right, I'm gonna take a pause to shout out our sponsor, Resolute Coffee. Look at this amazing new graphic they have for this this new brand. I wanted to stop sliding though. Do you pronounce this Pacamara? How would you say this?
Pacamara anaerobic natural.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds delicious. I love the new art.
Pacamara without oxygen, natural.
Oh, there you go. How about the La Tijuana pink bourbon washed? All new roast available as well. If you join the Crush It Club, you get a new special a new special flavor every single month, and you get the mug with your first purchase. So hop on that. Use our code HFM20. Also, Dave gets mad if I don't mention the hot sauce. So definitely order yourself some hot sauce as well. Although you can't get the sauce from this website. I think you could go to the other site, don't you, Dave?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that we thought about talking about was also we haven't heard back about these drug tests. And
Everybody was dirty.
And some have said if everyone's clean, they don't say anything. They just move on with their lives. So I don't think we're going to hear unless somebody pops dirty.
I looked it up, and the things I was reading about like the athletic testing for WADA said that it could take 4 to 6 weeks for results. And additionally, it could be 15 to 20 days after the event. Right now, we're 17 days after the event.
In what world would it take 4 to 6 weeks?
It doesn't. It could take 3 to 5 days to actually test the sample, but you don't know what they're testing for either. I personally would really like to know what did they test for, like, and just to see it. And I mean, I don't know what requirements they would be since it was a German company that tested them, or that like went to sample. I wonder if so because they're not a healthcare provider, they're not covered under HIPAA. I wonder if you could FOIA for to get your own results back.
Except it's you mean the German version of Freedom of Information? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know if the German company would fall under it, but to be able to find out like at least what it came back with.
Well,
know, like they should announce it just to know. So like give everybody the satisfaction, like, oh, we didn't just make a show of it to take the athlete's pee and do nothing with it, you know?
Well, something that I think Lauren or somebody else said about like they had you list everything you're currently taking, which I don't know why they would do that, because you're either going to test positive or you're not. And if you're going to say, oh, but I took this thing, you could have done that anyway.
It's not a full spectrum test though. Like They need to know what metabolites they're expecting to see and then which ones they aren't and what levels it goes above. And you can't just like test my pee, see if I'm taking drugs. It's what metabolites come out of that they target for certain drugs. So like say they wanted, I would be interested in like, okay, I don't know what the metabolite is, but like test for synthetic EPO. Okay. Cause like, you know, most like steroid things that people would take aren't going to be the most or helpful in this event, but EPO would probably be. Just ask Lance Armstrong. So,
what? How dare you?
I just want to know what they tested for. Like, did they test for synthetic EPO? Because then, like, you can see if it's in there, because you would target the metabolite. But you have to know what you're looking for in order to know what was targeted.
Shiz says the peptides won't be found. Is that true?
No.
No, I mean they find metabolites, not what went in. They find the product that is commonly associated with what comes out.
What comes out which end?
Well, the end they sampled from, Matt.
This end? Why would they not find it? Because I know that that's currently illegal, but if they don't test for it, then why wouldn't everybody be taking them? Anyone?
Oh no,
Anyone?
I was researching WADA.
Tara, do you have a degree in anything? Tara, what is your degree in?
Physical education.
Okay. Did you learn anything about?
It's like they're legal, but they're not legal under WADA. Like, so you can, I mean, I know that Wegovy is real popular right now. That's a peptide. Like, there's peptides for everything. So, but they're banned under WADA standards. And I don't know, like, do you know, Anthony, if they're testing, are they third-party testing, or, because I don't think they're testing through WADA.
They were third-party sampling, and it was sent to, I'm not going to say the lab. I have the.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
That was convenient.
He got shut down. You see that? See how that
HYROX is like, has
You totally froze.
Hey, man.
You totally froze.
What happened?
You
What did
totally
you miss
froze.
then?
You said something. You said that. You said
froze.
I found where they shot JFK from, a new
No.
camera angle, and then it dropped off.
What was the last thing you heard from me then?
you're not
Grassy
gonna
knoll.
the places that they're gonna
Yeah, I'm not going to say like what the name of that company was, but it was on their sample sheet. It's not a party associated that I know of with WADA. I think they're just testing to WADA standards.
Well, there's like 100 companies, right? WADA
there's
is
tons.
WADA is the standard, not the tester.
Yeah, they could use Safe Sport. There is WADA testing, but you could use a whole bunch of other testing companies to sample and test.
Like if you like Dave, when people go to work for your company, okay, do they have to go to, like in America, you go to the place that takes blood for stuff, and like you pee. You know what is that place called that everybody uses?
Quick Labs or something.
Yeah, those kind of companies, right?
Yeah.
Dave, do they drug test for your people or no?
It depends where you are. Some parts of the country do. I've had to do a couple before.
But you go down to the place, you pee, you leave, and that's it.
Yeah,
But
you go, you pee, you leave.
they're looking for specific things, like are you taking hard drugs?
Yeah,
and here's what
mostly-
we would find.
Mostly
not
for us,
doing a
they're
spectrum.
looking for like cocaine and
Yeah,
pot,
like-
heroin,
Wait a minute.
stuff like
Minute. First of all, I want to know who Clock is, because I saw Clock comment on another show the other day. Welcome, Clock.
that.
What
By
is
the way,
the standard
Shiz
they
said something really relevant that, like CrossFit, nobody announces when they're clean. They just announce the tests that are dirty.
But
So if
doesn't
everybody's clean, they won't announce anything.
didn't CrossFit start doing in-house testing?
I think they did for a while, but I think they've gone to somebody else.
They
now.
have a third-party tester, but they don't let that third-party tester release the results. They get sent the results, and they release the ones they want.
But I
Or
just
they-
heard on Castro's podcast or Week in Review today that they don't hide results anymore.
Anymore.
Only the one
Well,
time, just one time.
There was one time they admitted
Just one
to it
time,
that they hid
yeah.
results of an athlete because that athlete had a job that if they in the military or something, if they had been found out that they were testing positive for this, they would have ruined their whole career. And
No, you
dishonorably
said that, Dave. You said that, Anthony. Did Dave admit that the other day?
Castro said that actually, if you listen to his most recent Week in Review,
admitted
he
it.
says that there.
They admitted it years ago in CrossFit.
Okay. Well, I know that you had said that, but I didn't know that they had said that.
I feel like Rich Ryan made the point, like, what if somebody does test positive, what benefit does HYROX have for like busting them?
I can tell you right now, if either of their champions popped positively, and I hope they didn't, there's no way they would say it. There's no way they would. There's way too much, like it would fuck them up.
Yeah,
I don't think the media and the
Literally.
people. I don't think the media and the people behind the sport are connecting those. So if they did, they should. They absolutely should. Like,
But they wouldn't.
trust in the sport. Just everywhere.
Well, at the end of the day, is it a sport or is it a business?
That's
It's
a
a
great
business.
question.
So I mean,
But if
like,
you want to
Yeah,
grow
great
your
question.
sport,
It is a business first,
gonna do what's
100%.
it's not best for the sport.
See,
And-
Shizno's Clock. What's up, Clock?
Keep in mind, like HYROX,
Oh,
they,
is it-
they say the saying, "HYROX is my sport. HYROX is my sport." HYROX is not a sport. HYROX is a company, and HYROX is a race.
But-
right, that's the difference. So
But
they-
Not if
like-
you
it's
not if you
like-
say my sport is HYROX. I have a shirt that says so. Right?
that's a lovely tagline.
What does
Fit
your
for
shirt
everyone.
say, Dave?
Mine says HYROX Team London Hybrid.
Okay. Jabari, what does your shirt say?
No, mine says DEKA FIT.
But yeah, it is a company. It's a company, and they're there to make money. They're there to make a product. Like you can keep calling it, saying it's my sport, but HYROX is not a sport. It's a company. It's no more sport than Spartan is a sport. Spartan is a company that has an obstacle course race. Obstacle course racing is the sport. And then whether you want to call it hybrid racing, hybrid fitness racing, that's the sport. HYROX is a company who produces a race.
Right.
Just like CrossFit
Hey,
Games
also
is
drop
an
this
event, and CrossFit is a methodology and a training thing. There's differences.
I concur that. Hey, can I also drop this in there as well? We was talking about with the drug testing. I recently went listened to the Race Brain podcast. It's something that Brandon Crocker actually said about that and to help out all athletes. He dropped this PSA, and that's what he said. He said, for those athletes, if you want to make sure that y'all test clean, and I'm just paraphrasing here, that you have to source sample your supplements. Paraphrasing. And basically, I think what he said was that for all supplements that you take, of course, screen them, but also save samples of those supplements. So about to the last, like 1 or 2 scoops, save them off to the side so that when it's test, when the testing does happen, and when there's, they detect some things, then they could go back to that batch. I think that's what he said. So, just dropping that little nugget in there.
The thing with that too is if you are doing that and you're saving like your supplements or whatever the case may be in case you do pop and they have to investigate your supplements, the correct move is then whatever you're taking to cheat, put into your supplements so that when you get caught, you can go back and say it was tainted supplements.
So you can say that all those companies do quality testing as well, and they have lot numbers and sample numbers that they attach to the bucket. So as long as you know what lot number and sample number you have for your bucket of protein or something, the company you can go back to and be like, show me the quality of that and like what was the tolerances of each thing, and they have samples too, and you'd be like, I need you to retest this because of something, right?
But do all companies do that? Yeah. Because supplements aren't regulated by the FDA in the US.
Right. So there's third-party testers for that, and you have to find safe for sport supplements.
It's like, I think me and David talked about when Ryan Wood got like popped for DHEA. Like, I don't know that most athletes like know all the stuff you also can't take. I guess you can say it's your responsibility to know as an athlete. But in reality, we're mostly not professionals here. So I don't know if Ryan Woods like actually thought it was fish oil, but like he also probably bought that from Walmart.
So Shiz, you gotta make sure you only save some of that beef in the burrito if it's from Iceland, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was in Oregon when she took that burrito.
I don't remember. I thought it was Iceland. I thought she was in a different country.
Is it cheaper to take performance enhancing burritos than it is to get the shots?
I would think so.
Okay, I'm just curious. For asking for a friend,
Hey, by the way, good thing I didn't start my TRT program, because then if I had the heart attack, we'd have to blame that, right? Or the
and I would have made you give back your podium from New York too.
By the way, I did Google angina, right? Or I typed in my symptoms and it gave me angina. So like it was definitely an angina event. That's what I'm going to call it. You missed it, Tara. I almost died. Not really, but I had a really bad thing happen to me a couple weeks ago. And so I ran on a treadmill and it's called a nuclear test because they put fucking nuclear shit in your body. Like, so the imaging can read it, but it's supposedly safe.
And you're alive. So you're all right.
I am alive, but I need to find out what happened because I had some sort of angina event during a HYROX-ish workout. I was doing some weighted lunges and it almost knocked me over.
That's dangerous.
You don't care, Tara. You don't care at all. Just because I didn't know you raced Spartan, you don't care about my heart.
Here. Can I have your followers if you
Yes, I'll bequeath my followers. You can have them.
All right, we're all good now with the Spartan thing then.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this week's weekly live show?
No.
Oh yeah, I do. Hey, for anybody now Chicago's already sold out. That is correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. For those that still want to race, okay, right. For those that still want to race, Dallas is already at 70%. Go register.
Yeah, don't bid
pre-registered.
later.
I'll be there.
Register now or cry later. Anaheim's still open as well.
ASAP. Right, ASAP.
I think I'm almost definitely going to go to a one of the European majors. I think I need to go. So that's what I thought about in the last few days. I'm like, if I'm gonna fly somewhere, I got some flight credits. I think I'm gonna go to Europe. So I want them to make those announcements soon.
They should make the majors. I was talking to someone in like a major like international city and stop having them in these like little. Actually, Vienna was good, but they had like the one in Maastricht where you have to go to Amsterdam and then like take a train for like 3 hours. That was no bueno.
All
right.
Was that Maastricht? Was that Maastricht you were talking about, Tara?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we got to Leipzig too. We flew to Frankfurt and then took like a 2.5 hour train to Leipzig.
Yeah, I feel like if it's going to be an international sport, you should have it in an international city that you could fly fairly directly to.
All right. Well, then
That would be
Atlanta,
nice.
then Atlanta will be a United States major then because
Everybody
we have a.
Atlanta.
Matt just keeps trying to
It
get
has to be.
Atlanta.
Have you ever thought maybe they're not going to Atlanta because of you?
It's very possible.
You might be the issue.
They'll be like, dude, if we do it in Atlanta, Matt's going to be up our ass. We don't want that. All right, everybody.
No.
Thanks for joining us. Go check out the Hybrid Engine if you want to learn to be a badass. Go check out the OFX podcast if you want to listen to Dave and Bethany talk about stuff. Say hi to Jabari when you see him in a race. And Tara, what do you got next?
I think I'm doing that HYROX in Canada. Well, not Canada, Niagara Falls.
That's in Canada.
It's technically also in the U.S. I don't know where the
You're doing the one in Canada. You got to cross the border
Half
for
and
it.
half.
Okay. Well,
What's the date? What's the date on that, Tara?
August 7th, 6th, 10th. That's it. That's the date. I fly in the 7th.
Where
no,
are you?
10th and 11th.
Where are you? Virginia, North Carolina? Where are you, Tara?
North Carolina.
Okay.
What's
All right.
part?
Wilmington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Oh, I
Congrats,
didn't get what
Tara.
I'm doing next.
What is Anthony doing next? You want to race a relay? No.
What are you doing next? I haven't ended the
Oh.
stream yet. What is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought we ended it. I'm doing a Missoula marathon this coming up weekend, or half marathon. I'm doing a half marathon. And then I guess we're going to do the Spartan, Utah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's probably some other trail races. Anyway, I thought we were all going around saying it. That's why I was.
Nope.
No,
Not all going around saying it. I told everybody to go to your stupid coaching thing. That's all you need. Bye.
that's not stupid.